Learn English easily. The journey of Apollo 13. In space, far from Earth's blue globe, Apollo 13 was flying to the moon. 3 astronauts, Captain Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Haise, were on this spaceship. They were not just astronauts. They were like trailblazers, looking eagerly at the moon, which people have always been curious about. On April 11, 1970, their big adventure started. The spaceship took off from Kennedy Space Center. This event was amazing. It showed what people can do when they work hard and dream big. As Apollo 13 went up, leaving Earth behind, people worldwide watched with wonder and excitement. The mission was going as planned at first. But 2 days after they started, when they were getting close to the moon, something went very wrong. They were doing a normal check on an oxygen tank, but suddenly, something bad happened. There was a loud noise like a big bang inside the spaceship. Swigert quickly told Mission Control in Houston, "Houston, we've had a problem." This message became very famous later. Back on Earth, the people in the control room in Houston were very worried when they heard this. Alarms started ringing. The spaceship was in big trouble. It was losing oxygen and electricity very fast. They had to stop thinking about landing on the moon. Now they had to think about something much more important: how to keep the astronauts safe and get them back home. Inside their spaceship, far, far away from Earth, the 3 astronauts were facing a scary and uncertain situation. As they tried to save power, the cold from outer space started to come into the spaceship. They had to be very careful with everything, even water, which became something very special and rare. Every breath they took and every move they made had to be very careful and well thought out. The part of the spaceship that was supposed to land on the moon now had a new job. It became like a small boat keeping them safe in the vast sea of space. Meanwhile, back on Earth, a lot of people were working very hard to help them. Scientists, engineers, and other workers didn't sleep. They stayed up all night and day. They thought of different things that could happen and tried to find the best ways to solve them. They also kept giving important advice and instructions to the astronauts. They had a saying: "Failure is not an option." This meant they were going to do everything they could to bring the astronauts back safely. In an amazing show of working together and smart thinking, the people on Earth came up with a plan. The astronauts in space had to change the direction of their spaceship by themselves. This was a very tough job, because they had to be very exact while they were floating in the huge, open space. They used a clever trick. They looked at where the sky meets the Earth from space to guide them. This was a smart and quick way to fix their path. At the same time, people all over the world were watching and waiting to see what would happen. Everyone was very worried. Many people prayed and hoped for the astronauts' safe return. Everyone held their breath, hoping everything would be okay. This was a time when it felt like all the people in the world were together, all hoping for the same thing. Finally, it was time for the most dangerous part: coming back into Earth's atmosphere. This part is like passing through a ring of fire, because the outside of the spaceship gets very hot. For a few moments, It was impossible to talk to the astronauts. This always happens when a spaceship comes back to Earth. But this time, the silence lasted longer than usual and felt very scary. Suddenly, there was a bright light in the sky. This was Apollo 13, racing back to Earth. Then, everyone heard the sound of 3 parachutes opening. This meant the spaceship had safely slowed down and was landing. Apollo 13 and its brave crew had made it back home. People all around the world were so happy and relieved. They cheered and celebrated. The astronauts, Lovell, Swigert, and Haise, were seen as heroes. They showed everyone how brave and strong people can be. Their trip was full of dangers, but it proved something important. It showed that when people work together for one big goal, they can do amazing things. Even though Apollo 13 didn't land on the moon, it taught us a lot about bravery and clever problem solving. This mission is remembered as a very important part of history. The Little Explorer. In a small coastal town, where the sea met the land with gentle waves, and the air always carried a hint of salt, there lived a young boy named Alex. Alex was 12 years old, with bright eyes full of curiosity and a heart full of dreams. His father was a fisherman, and his mother ran a small cafe near the beach. Alex's life was simple but happy. Every morning, he would help his mother prepare sandwiches and cakes for the cafe. In the afternoons, he'd rush to the pier to greet his father, who would return with the day's catch. Alex loved listening to his father's stories of the sea, tales of distant waters, and the mysteries that lay beneath. However, life in the town wasn't always easy. The fishing industry, the town's lifeline, was struggling due to overfishing and environmental changes. Many families, including Alex's, were finding it hard to make ends meet. One day, while exploring the beach, Alex found an old, weather-beaten boat hidden among the rocks. It was small and had seen better days, but to Alex it was a treasure. He decided to fix it up with the dream of one day helping his father with fishing. Alex spent weeks working on the boat. He patched up holes, painted the wood, and learned from books and neighbors how to fix the engine. His parents, seeing his dedication, supported him best they could, though they worried about the sea's unpredictable nature. Finally, the boat was ready. Alex named it the Little Explorer. The first trip out to sea was both thrilling and terrifying. The waves were bigger than he had anticipated, and steering the boat required more strength than he had expected. But as he got the hang of it, his confidence grew. One morning, while out in the Little Explorer, Alex noticed something unusual. A part of the sea, not far from the coast, seemed to be teeming with fish. Excited, he marked the spot and hurried back to tell his father. His father was skeptical at first, but agreed to check the spot with Alex. To their amazement, they found an abundant fishing area, untouched by other fishermen. This discovery was a turning point for Alex's family, and eventually the whole town. The new fishing spot provided a much-needed boost to the community's economy. Alex became something of a local hero. His courage to venture out to sea, and his determination to help his family had led to a significant discovery. His parents were proud, not just of what he had achieved, but of the young man he was becoming. Alex continued to fish with his father, learning the ways of the sea. He also started a small project to teach other kids in the town about sustainable fishing practices, inspired by his love for the ocean and his desire to protect it. Years passed, and Alex grew up to be a fine fisherman and an active member of the coastal community, always advocating for the sea's health and the town's prosperity. His little boat, the Little Explorer, became a symbol of hope and perseverance in the town, a reminder that sometimes, even the smallest actions can lead to great changes.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more.